था जिससे कोई नहीं बच सकता। काफी पहले रोशनी ने मेरी सल्तनत को जला डाला। मेरे सिम्बियट बच्चों ने मुझे धोखा दिया और मुझे यहाँ कैद कर लिया। और फिर कोडेक्स अस्तित्व में आया। यही तो है मेरी आजादी की चाबी, जिससे इस जेल का ताला खुलेगा। मेरा हुक्म है कि ब्रह्मांड का कोना कोना छानो और आजादी की चाबी लेकर आओ। मुझे वो कोडेक्स चाहिए। और जब मैं आजाद होकर हर एक ग्रह को खाक करके अपने सिम्बियट बच्चों को तबाह कर दूंगा, तब मैं शायद तुम्हारी जान बख्श दूंगा।
तो तुम्हारा मतलब है इस यूनिवर्स में सुपर हीरो टाइप के लोग होते हैं। अच्छा, तुम्हें क्या लगता है कि ये एलियंस दारू शारू पीते हुए चकना भी खाते हैं, साथ में मूंगफली खाते हैं? नहीं, एलियंस वो मूंगफली नहीं खाते। नहीं, उन्हें नहीं पसंद है मूंगफली। पता है उन्हें क्या पसंद है? उन्हें पसंद है भेजा खाना। बस यही जानते हैं वो।
सीनियर, उसने मेरी फैमिली को गायब कर दिया, वो भी 5 साल तक।
अच्छा, 5 साल तक?
जी।
ये तो बहुत नाइंसाफी है। चलो कोई नहीं।
अरे हम टल्ली हो चुके हैं। लौट के बुद्धू घर को आए। यूनिवर्स में इधर उधर मुंह मार के पक गया हूं मैं, लेकिन बाहर वाला के रूप में अच्छा लगा।
दिमाग का दही हो गया है। लगता है जैसे मेरे दिमाग की बत्ती गुल हो गई है, लेकिन मीटर अब भी चालू है।
अरे ये जांच होने की जरूरत है। तो ना जा।
नहीं पीनी है मुझे। क्या तो उसका घर और बार दोनों उजाड़ देगा।
पटियाला, आज का नशा जिंदगी भर याद रहेगा।
इस प्यासे को पानी पीना है, दारू नहीं।
मर्द है, पानी नहीं पीते। मैं उठा जाम लगा मुंह को और खटक ले।
पटियाला बैग।
अब अलबेला झूमेगा।
सीनियर, आपके इतने सारे हाथ आए कहां से?
ऑफर में मिले तो ले लिए मैंने।
लगता है मुझे बिन पिए चढ़ गई आज।
मैं कैली रोले सैन फ्रांसिस्को से रिपोर्ट कर रही हूँ। पुलिस अभी भी फॉर्मर रिपोर्टर एडी ब्रॉक को डिटेक्टिव पैट्रिक मलिगन की अचानक हुई मौत के बारे में पूछताछ करने के लिए ढूंढ रही है।
नहीं।
डिटेक्टिव मलिगन मरे हुए पाए गए और शहर के उस कैथेड्रल में हुई अजीबोगरीब घटनाओं के बारे में भी।
उन्हें लगता है मैंने उसे मारा है।
वो कब तक कानून से बच पाएगा ये तो वक्त ही बताएगा।
अगर हम इस शहर की न्यूज में, तो तुम्हारे शहर में तो हर जगह अपने फोटो लगे होंगे।
यानी हम सैन फ्रांसिस्को वापस नहीं जा सकते, लेकिन ये भी पक्का है कि मैं जिंदगी भर यहाँ मैक्सिको में छिपके नहीं बैठूंगा।
अरे तो हम कहाँ जाएंगे यार?
पता नहीं यार, पर कुछ तो सोचना होगा। ये आइडिया कमाल का है। एक जज है जिसने मुझे न्यूयॉर्क से भगाया था।
वो कीड़े थे क्या उसको?
हाँ, मुझे उसके बहुत सारे कांड पता है।
मुझे हमेशा से स्टैच्यू ऑफ लिबर्टी पे ताता थैया करना था।
हम उसे ब्लैकमेल करके साबित करवा देंगे कि मैं बेकसूर हूँ।
तो चल फिर आगे बढ़।
अबे मेरी उतरने तो दे।
तेरा कैश क्या?
देख, अब कोई तमाशा मत करना, हमें पतली गली से निकलना है।
हम भगोड़े हैं, पुलिस हमारे पीछे पड़ी है, लेकिन हम बेगुनाह हैं। हाँ, मगर मैं हर उस बुरे आदमी को खा जाऊंगा जो हमारे रास्ते में आएगा।
मुझे थोड़ा ब्रेक चाहिए। अरे यार, तूने वो आवाज सुनी?
उसे देख रहे हो?
कोई मुसीबत में है और मेरे पेट की टंकी भी रिजर्व में है।
हाँ, चल देखते हैं।
उस तरफ चल। बदमाश कंपनी एडी, याद कर हम जाबाज रखवाले हैं या नहीं?
ताला लगा है।
तो टिचकी मार के तोड़ना।
ओ तेरी,
कितने क्यूट है। डरो मत, तुम लोगों को नहीं खाऊंगा।
ये सभी लड़ाकू कुत्ते हैं।
इन कुत्तों को छुड़ाने के लिए उन कमीनों से निपटना होगा।
की पेन देखो। ओए वातो, तो गलत जगह आ गया है।
ओ हेलो,
ये अपन का इलाका है।
तुम टपोरियों की खूंखार शक्लें, आंखों में अंगारे देखकर लगता है कि मुझे तुमसे डरना चाहिए, है ना?
तू आ तो गया, लेकिन यहाँ से अरमानो तेरी लाश ही जाएगी।
देख, मेरा सिर दर्द कर रहा है क्योंकि आज मैंने हद से ज्यादा दारू पी रखी है, बहुत ज्यादा। मैं सच्ची बोल रहा हूँ। बात यह है कि मेरे अंदर एक बहुत खतरनाक जानवर टाइप की चीज है।
हम सब के अंदर एक जानवर होता है।
वो जानवर नहीं, ये जानवर इतना खूंखार है कि तेरी मुंडी फूल की तरह तोड़कर बास्केटबॉल बनाकर तेरी बास्केट में डाल देगा।
वो सिखा भी सकता
हाँ, या फिर वो उसे खा भी सकता है। सच्ची। अरे यार रुक जा, तू तो बुरा मान गया। देख मेरी बात समझ।
देख, बोलना बंद कर।
अगर मैंने बोलना बंद किया तो तेरी बोलती बंद हो जाएगी। और मैं ये तेरे भले के लिए बोल रहा हूँ, समझा? अब मैं बताता हूँ कि तुझे क्या करना है। तुझे इन सब कुत्तों के लिए अच्छे अच्छे घर ढूंढ के इन्हें वहाँ भेजना होगा, क्योंकि तू जो कर रहा है वो बहुत गलत है। वैसे तेरी माँ तुझे कभी डांटती नहीं क्या, ढक्कन?
मेरी माँ मर गई, गुलेरो।
इमोशनल अत्याचार।
आंटी को मेरा सलाम।
गई। हाँ? पर तोला माँ ने। हाँ? एंथियस,
तू अभी भी बच सकता है।
अच्छा?
देख, मैं तुझे आखिरी मौका दे रहा हूँ मुन्ना, कट ले वरना तू यहीं कट जाएगा।
सी कीन
कोर्बो लोर्बो
मारबो।
होला मुर्गे। बता तेरा बाप कौन है? इसे कहते हैं चप्पल की थप्पड़।
किधर भैया?
गाँव
नहीं। तू है कौन? हम
हम है वेनम।
हम
वेनम।
साथ में।
अच्छा।
हाँ, हम
वेनम।
इसकी प्रैक्टिस करेंगे वरना तू ऐसे ही बेइज्जती करवाएगा।
खाना काफी लजीज था।
यू वेलकम। थैंक यू।
मुझे लगता तू पहले जरूर फूड ब्लॉगर था।
चल अब 9:11 हो जाए। मेरा दूसरा जूता कहाँ गया? ओह हे बडी, ये मेरा जूता है।
ये ले बादशाह के जूते।
पुलिस हमारे पीछे पड़ी है क्योंकि गुनाह तो हमसे हुआ है और ऐसा निकम्मा सुपर हीरो मेरे पल्ले पड़ा है जो उड़ तक नहीं सकता।
उड़ के दिखाओ क्या?
चूहा बाहर आ ही गया। जनरल स्ट्रिकलैंड को कॉल करो।
ये चीज है।
ये एक वायरस है, तुम्हें मार के जिंदा रहेगा। होला
होला
जो यहां आया था उसके बारे में बताओ मुझे।
वो साला पागल था, अपने आप से ही बात कर रहा था।
क्या बात कर रहा था?
उसकी बॉडी में से खतरनाक हिलने वाले हाथ निकल रहे थे, सांप की तरह लहरा रहे थे।
ले चलो इसे।
नेवाडा डेजर्ट।
तुम्हें लगता है किसी प्लैनेट पर हमारे जैसे भाई बहन होंगे जो आसमान देख रहे होंगे?
एक दिन जवाब जरूर दूंगा।
मेरा जुड़वा भाई नासा का बहुत बड़ा साइंटिस्ट बनेगा।
बनूंगा। जब बादल गरजे तुम अंदर ही रहना।
उसकी हालत खराब है, उसे इमरजेंसी सिम्बियोसिस के लिए फौरन ले जाओ।
वेलकम मैम।
मॉर्निंग डॉक्टर पेन, हम आपकी गाड़ी संभाल के रखेंगे।
मुझे नहीं लगता कोई मेरी खटारा चुराएगा।
हो सकता है उस खटारा पे किसी का दिल आ जाए।
आज बड़ी जल्दी उठ गए जनरल स्ट्रिकलैंड।
लगता है तुम्हारे सारे सपने सच हो गए।
तुम्हें इसका बड़ा अफसोस हो रहा होगा ना?
वो तुमसे थोड़ी देर पहले पहुंचा है।
हमारे दोस्त ने उसे कोई तकलीफ तो नहीं दी?
देखा, यही तो फसाद की असली जड़ है।
क्या?
कि तुमने पहले से उसे दोस्त मान लिया।
मॉर्निंग। गुड मॉर्निंग। आज एक ह्यूमन स्पेसिमेन को यहाँ लाए हैं। सुना मैंने। तुम्हारे चेहरे पर हमेशा 12 बजे रहते हैं, जैसे कोई मुसीबत आने वाली है।
क्योंकि मैं जो काम करता हूँ उसमें हमेशा मुसीबत आती ही है। हम उन्हें पकड़ते हैं, तुम स्टडी करती हो। यही तो सिस्टम है।
ये अच्छा लग रहा है। हेलो डॉक्टर।
गुड मॉर्निंग।
इसके दूसरे सिम्बियट ने इसे मरने के लिए छोड़ दिया। हमने इसे बचाया, वरना ये मर जाता। लेवल्स कम करने की कोशिश करते हैं। मॉर्निंग सेडी, ये मुझे दे दो।
हमने इसे मैक्सिको में पकड़ा था।
हाय, वेलकम। पता चला बाकी का सिम्बियट कहाँ है?
पता कर रहे हैं।
पता चलते ही मुझे बताना। हाँ। तुम्हें इससे इतना प्यार क्यों है?
बताया तो था, ये मेरी मॉम ने मेरे लिए बनाया था।
क्रिसमस में टाइम है।
मैं अंदर जा रही हूँ।
ये सारे साइंटिस्ट बड़े अजीब हैं।
उसे परेशान मत करो। तो इसमें बुराई क्या है अगर किसी को अपना काम पसंद है?
इस हफ्ते के आखिर तक एरिया 51 को पूरी तरह बंद कर दिया जाएगा। और वैसे भी यहाँ कुछ बचा नहीं है और टूरिस्ट आकर नाक में दम करते हैं।
कोई इस जगह के बारे में नहीं जानता।
जमीन के पूरे 100 फीट नीचे ना तो इसे कोई इंसान ढूंढ पाएगा और ना ही कोई एलियन। वो अपनी दुनिया में मैसेज भी नहीं भेज पाएंगे।
मेरे भाई का सबसे बड़ा सपना था ऊपर एरिया 51 में वो काम करना जो मैं यहाँ कर रही हूँ। काश मैं उसे दिखा पाती हमने यहाँ कितना बड़ा काम किया है।
सब ठीक है, बस गहरी सांस लो, ठीक है?
जब हम छोटे थे तब बताया जाता था कि यूएफओस दरअसल वेदर बलून्स हैं, स्पेस का कचरा। और ये भी कि मून लैंडिंग हॉलीवुड के स्टूडियो में शूट किया गया था।
कहानी अच्छी है।
कहाँ जा रहे हो? यहाँ से जाना है।
क्या ये एलियन हमें इन्फेक्ट कर सकता है?
मुझे हमारी फिक्र नहीं है। हमारी बॉडी में वायरसेस और बैक्टीरिया होते हैं जो किसी एलियन को नुकसान पहुंचा सकते हैं, और हमें उनकी ताकत और कमजोरियां नहीं पता।
यानी उन मेहमानों का सेफ रहना जरूरी है।
ये पहली बार है जब कोई होस्ट हमारे एक सिम्बियट से बॉन्ड हुआ है। शायद अब हम उनमें से एक से बात कर पाए। ये जब से यहाँ आया है इसे बार बार पैनिक अटैक्स आ रहे हैं।
तो इसे लोरी सुना दो, शांत हो जाएगा।
वाह, ये आइडिया मुझे क्यों नहीं आया? इसे आजाद कर दो।
मैं हूँ डॉक्टर पेन। टेडी,
तुम यहाँ सेफ हो। हम मदद करेंगे तुम दोनों की। ट्रांसफर कामयाब रहा और कोई रास्ता नहीं था।
कुछ भी करके तुम्हें बचाना ही था।
मॉन्स्टर्स। तुम भी अब आए जाओ।
क्या मैं तुमसे तुमसे कुछ सवाल पूछ सकती हूँ?
क्या वो सिम्बियट तुमसे बात करता है?
आवाज सुनाई देती है?
ऊंची आवाज सह नहीं पाता।
ठीक है। तुम यहाँ क्यों आए?
क्या चाहते हैं वो? जान बचाने।
जान बचाने?
हम भाग रहे थे। क्या ये बाकी सिम्बियट्स की बात कर रहे हैं?
लग तो ऐसा ही रहा है।
उसके मॉन्स्टर्स पूरे यूनिवर्स में हमें ढूंढ रहे हैं और वो हमें ढूंढ लेंगे और तब वो हम सबको मार देंगे।
कौन?
कुछ भी सलामत नहीं रहेगा।
यहाँ अर्थ पर?
वो भाग क्यों रहे थे?
क्योंकि यूनिवर्स के चारों तरफ विशाल काला भयानक समंदर मौजूद है।
क्या मतलब?
मैं नहीं बता सकता। मैंने आने वाला कल देखा है। अंधेरा सबको निकल जाएगा।
मैं हूं आपका कैप्टन। तो यात्रियों, इस वक्त हम 31,000 फुट की ऊंचाई पर उड़ रहे हैं। अगर आप अभी अपनी खिड़की से बाईं तरफ देखेंगे तो आपको दिखाई देगा खूबसूरत वादियों का नजारा।
बहुत शौक था ना उड़ने का?
मुझे मरवाएगा।
मुफ्त में बिजनेस क्लास चाहिए?
मेरी आत्मा रास्ते में रह जाएगी।
तुझे बेगुनाह साबित करके रहूंगा।
उसके लिए
What's up, guys? We're here with Little Miss Sunny and BJJ Fanatics here again today. She has some black hair this time, so I look homeless as always, so that's great. But what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be going over scrimmage wrestling upper body takedowns. Now, we're going to look at what actually constitutes an upper body takedown, and basically what we're going to do today is all the takedowns and attacks which don't require me grabbing my partner's legs. So we're not going to go into single legs, we're not going to go into double legs, we're not going to go into high crotches, but we're going to do all the upper body throws. We're going to go into pretty intricate hand fighting with collar ties. We're going to go into attacks from overhooks, attacks from underhooks, Diashi Hirais, Sasais, Uchimatas, things like that. So anything where I don't actually grab my partner's legs physically is what I'm going to be looking to go over with you guys today. Now, I can take... anybody could just come up here and teach wrestling moves. That's not my job. My job is not to teach you guys wrestling moves. There's plenty of wrestling instructionals for that. What my job is to take the things from wrestling that work and bring them over to jiu-jitsu and adapt them for our sport. And there are many things that work in wrestling, obviously. There are many things that work in judo, obviously. But there are many things that either need to be changed or tweaked a little bit. And there's many things that outright wouldn't make sense to do. So our job as athletes and as students is to take the things from judo and from wrestling and to bring them over to jiu-jitsu to kind of break the barrier and transcend wrestling, transcend judo, but also transcend jiu-jitsu. The time limits in jiu-jitsu are a lot longer than they are in wrestling. This means that the stances will be a lot higher. And there's a lot more emphasis on putting weight on your partner's head. So because the stances are longer, because of the threat of the submissions, I generally prefer to... what you're going to see today is what I like to do. I don't like to go into situations where I put my chest, or put my back rather, underneath my partner's chest so that she's carrying weight on me here, where I'm sprawled out underneath my partner. I don't like to be in situations where I have a single leg for long amounts of time, and from here, she has her body draped over mine, and she's putting weight on me. She's trying to kick her leg down. I'm carrying body weight. She's going for guillotine. She's going for kimuras, things like that. All of my attacks are upper body things, where from here, we go in, and now there's no really threat of me having to carry my partner's body weight. So all the things that I'm looking to do in these situations, except to move my partner around from here, we go in and we hit high percentage of low risk moves where we don't end up in danger on our partner, and we can use our lower body against our partner's lower body to start going into attacks. So we're going to take the things from wrestling and from judo that work in our sport, and we're going to translate them over into jiu-jitsu, and we're going to go into upper body takedowns with some intricate hand fighting, and then we're going to go into off balances with our partner and attacks with the lower body where I'm not actually physically grabbing my partner's legs. So now we're going to go into a quick talk about stance and motion, things like that, which I went into a deep dive on all of this in Scrimmage Wrestling Beginner's Guide to Success. So I'm not going to go over this all over again. You just defer to that one because that's like the baseline for these next instructionals. So I would recommend, especially if you're new to wrestling, just watching those first. But when we're standing up with an opponent here, and we're looking to play with our stances, the time limits in jiu-jitsu are so much longer than they are in wrestling. In wrestling, you have very short periods. In jiu-jitsu, you have 10, 15, 20, 30, 40-minute matches in ADCC finals. You have no time limit matches. So the stances will naturally be much higher. In wrestling, we're in this position here. So the head position is what stops my partner from attacking my legs most of the time. If her head goes down, my head goes down here. Because of the fact that our stances are relatively upright in jiu-jitsu, and I'm not a tall guy, but I'm taller than the average guy, a lot of guys I compete against aren't as tall as me. So to match my partner's head height, like if I was competing against her, to match her head height, just stand up straight, just to match her head height from here, if I'm crouched down in this position, this is just inherently more fatiguing for me than it is for her because my legs are bent from this position. So the stances we're going to have are going to be more upright, and we're going to use more down block hands to protect my legs than we are head position if you see you're in a longer match and your partner's a lot shorter than you. So when I go to approach her, and we're at distance from here, instead of walking in and matching the head height from here, I just walk in with my head high, and I use my down block hands so that she goes to shoot at my legs. From here, she can't do it because of the down block hand. So the stances are a lot different. The pacing is a lot different. Okay, because you can go balls to the wall for a short wrestling match. You can't go balls to the wall for a 40-minute match. So the pacing will be much slower. In wrestling, everyone's very frantic. In jiu-jitsu, you see the stance is upright. I'm just playing here, just working on wearing my partner out from these positions until I can go in and start to get to offense. Submissions change everything. All right. So this will mean that just head outside shots overall. This is something for the next instructional, but head outside shots overall will be much harder from here. All right, because now, the second I go from here, she has guillotines. The second I go from here, now she has back exposure. The second I go from here, now she has kimura. She has all kinds of things that she can do from these positions that you wouldn't have in wrestling. All right, and because of the fact that the matches are so long, and fatigue and pacing and work rate is a big part of this, what I tend not to do is to put myself in situations where my partner's chest is on my back and I'm carrying body weight. This is one of the most fatiguing positions in the sport here, where I'm trying to defend and my partner is just resting her weight on me. This is no good. All right. So a lot of the things that we're going to look to do, for me specifically, low shots can work. I'm not saying don't do low shots. For me, I'm not super athletic, and changing levels, level changing is hard for me, which I'm sure it is for a lot of you guys watching. But you can do low shots. But a lot of the things that we can do, we can be very effective just playing up here, where we kind of take the combination of traditional wrestling and judo, where we can look to go in and we can look to off balance our partner, snap the hands down. We don't put ourselves in situations where we risk getting attacked by our partner. We don't risk carrying our partner's body weight from here, and we can be effective. So just the overall stance, the overall pacing, the overall theory, and the scoring for jiu-jitsu is a lot different than it is in traditional wrestling or jiu-jitsu. So we have to, or in a judo. So you have to take that into account as we're looking to go into scrimmage wrestling when thinking about these takedowns. All right, so now let's look at the dilemma between the shoulders and hips. And this is the same as we're on the ground when we're looking at a three-dimensional guard, where when my partner's shoulders are directly over the hips, this is a perfect time for me to start going in and either feinting or actually picking up my partner's leg. So whenever I see that the shoulders are way over the hips from here, it'll be very hard to start breaking my partner's posture. Okay, if she's bolt upright and I start pulling on the head from here, it's hard to get my partner to lean over and break their posture. But what is very easy to do is it's very easy to come in and start feinting my partner's legs or picking up my partner's legs from here. And then now we can go into all of our leg attacks. All right. So the legs will be the feet and legs and the hips will be very available and the upper body is not. It's the same concept as on the floor. If I'm trying to attack my partner in an armbar from bottom guard and she's posturing into me and the hips are away, the armbar is always available. But the second she starts to posture up and pull out of that armbar and I lose the elbow, then the legs are always available. So it's the same idea, just taken from the ground into the standing position. So anytime the upper body is not going to really be available, it's going to be hard to snap my partner down. This is the perfect time to start picking up legs, start feinting legs, or start harassing feet here. Because now, once I start harassing the feet, now she starts to step that foot back to recapture her base. And now once that foot steps back, now the shoulders are in front of the hips. Because the shoulders are in front of the hips, this makes snap downs much easier. Okay? So we play a basic dilemma game between shoulders and hips. If I see my partner's shoulders are over her hips, over the hips, here, now we start feinting the legs. Here, we start picking up the legs. Here, we start harassing the feet. Here, we start moving my partner around, getting her moving. The second I see from this position that the head is forward and the shoulders are in front of the hips, now I can't get to the legs. If I go to get to the legs now, she just moves the leg back. The legs are so far away from me here. If she goes to stand up straight, the legs are right here. It's easy to get to them. But the second that head comes forward and the shoulders come down, now the legs are protected. Now her head position is good. I have to get through her head, I have to get through her hands, I have to get through her hips in order to take my partner backwards. And she's leaning forward, so taking her backwards is inherently harder as well. But when she's bent over like this, now I can get to the head easy. Now I can start pulling on the head. And the longest end of the lever of the human spine is the top of the head. It's the easiest way to fatigue your partner in a long form match. So we play a basic dilemma game where if the shoulders are over the hips, we feint the legs, we grab the legs, or we harass the feet. If the shoulders are in front of the hips, we can't get to the legs, we can't get to the feet, so then we go right back to the head. We just play this basic game. The second my partner goes to stand up and pull everything up, we pick the legs out. The second from here, I go to pick the legs up, she moves back, and we snap. We play this basic dilemma game between shoulders and hips. Tell them what happened. What happened? Okay, like...
First clip of the night. He cut me.
So my knee's been hurt, and my stomach's been terrible, and I haven't trained that much since ADCC, which is why I'm like a giant fat slob right now. But I haven't trained since my toenails are a little bit long, and I hit one of those foot sweeps, and it just cut her baby skin.
It cut me good. First clip of the night. And we have 4 more nights to go. So
it's gonna be a long day.
It's gonna be great. If I'm a little bit grumpy, you guys know already why.
To be fair, I asked if she had nail clippers before, and she didn't.
No, I don't. I have perfect manicure and pedicure as always.
Your nails are longer than mine.
But it doesn't hurt.
Okay, so we're going to look at the dilemma between the central line and the back. All right, and I talk about this in a lot of my other instructionals, where basically what we're trying to do in ground grappling and standing grappling and in striking, we're trying to expose either our partner's center line or our partner's back. All right, so if at any point from here, I can get my partner squared up to me and expose the center line, this makes attacks on my partner relatively easy. Whether I'm pulling myself into Ashigurami, whether I'm shooting a double leg on my partner, whether I'm attacking foot sweeps, I can attack both feet. Anytime I can expose my partner's center line, we can go into attacks quite easily on our partner. All right. And conversely, if I can ever expose my partner's back from here, okay, obviously now we can go into great attacks from here. So the whole thing is going to be exposing my partner's center line through movement, through gripping and movement here, where now we can go into attacks, or situations where I can expose my partner's back, get behind my partner, and now we can do good work behind our partner in a relatively safe manner. All right, so we're playing two general dilemmas between shoulders and hips and center line and back. And if you break everything down into shoulders and hips and center line and back, everything will be a lot easier. All right, so now we're going to look at just a general rule. Again, these are just general rules and guidelines we're following of inside position. There are great inside position and outside position plays, okay, just like on the floor. You have great inside position plays with things like butterfly guard, and you have great outside position plays with things like closed guard. Okay, there's great inside and outside plays. But in general, inside position is going to be what we favor, because of the fact that anytime you have inside position, you can really start to fatigue your partner by pulling on your partner's head. So anytime, if she goes to reach for me, my hand, my elbow, my shoulder come inside my partner's, we're going to have the inside position. So this makes it important, these very subtle movements, when we go to tie up with our partner. If we go to start reaching and my shoulder starts outside my partner's shoulder, I lose from here. So if we're in a position, we're in a position here, and I'm slightly off to this side. If I go to reach for my partner with the lead hand, now, because my shoulder's outside hers, when we both go to tie up, it's much easier for her to win here. Now I can, move my shoulder, so as we both go to reach, I get inside, but because I'm starting in a position where her shoulder's on the inside, if we draw a line that goes straight from her shoulder out in this direction, her shoulder's inside mine. So when we both go to reach, she beats me from here. Whereas from here, if my lead foot is aligned with her rear foot, she beats me. The second I start moving, so that from here, my lead foot splits her legs, or I'm toe-to-toe with my lead foot versus her lead foot. Now when she goes to reach for me, I can always go in and I can get the inside position. All right? Now, this comes at a price, because now, if she goes to reach with the rear hand and I go to reach with the lead hand, I win. But the further I get into a situation where I can beat lead hand versus rear hand, the easier it is for her now to reach me with her lead hand. Because the further I move in this direction, the further her right shoulder now comes inside my left shoulder. So now when we go to tie up, now we can both have collar ties. So from here, we have to be ready, as we both go to tie up, to take my left shoulder to the inside. And now we have an inside bicep tie and collar tie. Okay? So we play this general idea that we're looking to get inside position here. All right? Now, how we get inside position is going to be through where I'm placed and where my shoulders and hips move. But in general, I want to have the inside position, because once I have the inside position, I can really start fatiguing my partner and pulling on my partner's head. Right? There's great things that we can do from outside position, for example, like an over tie, but from here, it's much harder for me to pull my partner's head. So I'm always looking to strip these grips. Now she goes to pull the hand back. Now we have inside position once again. Right? So always looking to move to the inside position. And this will vary if she switches her stance, for example. Now from here, when she goes to reach for me, she has the inside position, which is why it's more than likely from here that she's going to take a collar tie on me, and I'll have to work with an over tie. In order for me to get the inside position, I have to circle here. So now her center line's exposed. She has to step back with that right leg. As she steps back with the right leg, now we can go in, so we can take her collar tie. There's a lot of movement here, and there's a lot of manipulation of where my shoulders and elbows will be to get inside. Someone's ringing the doorbell because food's here. So we got our food. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What do we get?
Rice and chicken and peppers. And
So we're just going to leave this over here. And if you guys think I'm redoing that whole clip, you're out of your mind. So we're just going to continue right on from there. We got a lot of work to do that. So my whole thing is to get my shoulders to the inside position. And in general, I'm looking to work from the inside position. Okay. And, relative to, based on my partner's stance relative to my stance, if we're right versus right or we're left versus right, and where I am contingent on my partner's body position and my body position, it's going to be easier to get inside position for one of us, right? So for example, the further I circle towards my partner's far shoulder, the easier it is for her rear hand to beat my lead hand. But the easier it is for my rear hand to beat her lead hand here. So from here, if I go to reach rear and she goes to reach straight, I win. If she goes to reach rear and I go to reach straight, she wins. But if we change the angle and I'm here, now if she goes to reach lead hand and I go to reach rear, she can beat me. But if she goes to reach rear and I go to reach straight, she can beat me. But most of the time, if we just reach straight to the head, I win. All right? And this can obviously be manipulated like you just saw. If I go to reach and she takes the shoulder inside and she rolls the shoulder, she beats me. That's why you'll see me and Nicholas will walk like this towards our partner. So we have a down block hand. So we go to make contact. When she goes to make a collar tie on me, my head, regardless of where my foot placement is, even if I'm out here and her shoulder's inside mine, switch. If her shoulder's inside mine and we're here, as she goes to reach, we take the shoulder inside. So now when she goes to get a hold of me, we get the hand inside regardless of where our foot placement is relative to our partners, and we have the inside position. So there's general rules where your feet are and where your shoulders are, but you can manipulate this and you can break the rules by shoulder rolling and getting your shoulder to the inside position and going in and getting underhooks. Going in, getting collar ties from here. And then keeping the inside position so I can start pulling on my partner's head and harassing my partner's feet and playing a game from the inside position. All right, so now let's talk about, we spoke about this a little bit in the previous instructional with scrimmaging, I'm pretty sure, but asymmetrical hand positions. So essentially what I mean by this is what I want is I want to have the ability to fatigue my partner by pulling on the head without my partner having the ability to pull on my head. All right. What I don't want is a situation where we both have one another's heads and the work rate is relatively equal from here. Now, you see this in jiu-jitsu all the time where either people go hand to hand and head to head here, and then no one's doing any work. Like you just see this and people just sit here forever. She's not getting more tired. I'm not getting more tired. And this is just useless to stand here for 90% of the match. Okay. It's equally as bad for me to have a collar tie and for her to have a collar tie, because now she can pull on my head just as much as I can pull on her head. And now we both get tired just as fast. So what I want is a situation where I have her head and she doesn't have a grip of mine. So now when she goes to move me around, because I have the inside position because I'm on her head, now I can start pulling on her head and I can start moving her around much easier from here. All right? There's plenty of ways to do this, whether it be working here, whether it be working here, whether it be working here and switching back and forth, anything that we can do to get to our partner's head where she has a grip, where I have a grip on her head and she doesn't have a grip on my head. And then right from here, we can go in and start switching to our attacks. So we always want asymmetrical hand positions so we can create a scenario where her work rate is much higher than mine because of the fact that I'm pulling on that long lever at the end of the spine here. And anytime that I'm on her head, that's great for me. But anytime she's on my head, especially if she has my head and I don't have her head, this should be warning signs going off in your head from here like, oh man, I gotta do something from here. This is like the worst case scenario, okay? This is bad enough where we both have collar ties. This is like, okay, this still should be red flags of sirens going off in your head. Like, I gotta clear this collar tie here. And then this is where we want to be. So now when she goes to move me around, it's gonna be hard. And now I can go into all of my attacks right from there. All right, so now let's look at an overview of the entire instructional, how we're going to format it like we always do. So the first thing we're going to look at is just basic hand fighting setups and how we can stop our partner from getting to our head, how we can get to our partner's head, and then all different kinds of attacks from collar ties. And then just using the collar tie itself as an attack so I can fatigue my partner over time. So getting to the head, using collar ties, learning how to stay on the head with collar ties, where if she goes to get control of my head and she goes to pommel her hands, how we can go in and we can keep collar ties on the partner and then go into attacks from there. All right. The first thing is going to be getting to collar ties, hand fighting, attacks from collar ties. All right. After that, we're going to be looking at over ties. So my partner takes a collar tie on me from here, and now we can go in and we can look to use over ties to start going in and going into all of our attacks from there. Then we're going to look at and we'll have setups, of course, into these positions from underhooks. So I can go in, start attacking my partner from these underhook situations where we can go in and start playing all of our attacks from here. Then we'll look at overhooks. So if she has an underhook from here, now we have to go in and play our game where we start to go in and attack our partner from overhooks. Then, once we finish overhooks, then we're going to go into under-over scenarios, where we both have underhooks, we both have overhooks, and we play from these positions here. Then we're going to look at double underhooks. Where double underhooks from here, now we can go and start to play all of our games attacking from there. We're going to look at double overhooks, where now she has 2 underhooks, and now it's my job to start going in and playing a game where I can sit my partner down. So under over, double under, then double over. After that, we'll go to 2-on-1s, whether it be 2-on-1 wrist grips, whether it be wrist and elbow, whether it be 2-on-1 Russian, and look to go into attacks from 2-on-1s. After 2-on-1, we'll go into arm drags. We look to go in from here, and we chain arm drags in, however it may be. We start playing, and we use drags to start going in and getting to our partner's back, getting behind our partner. And then once we use those drags to get behind our partner from here, now we're in rear body lock territory, or now from here, we're going to look to go in and start putting our partner down towards the floor. So this is the general format here. Now, I haven't taught scrimmage wrestling hardly ever, just in class here, but never taught seminars or series on scrimmage wrestling, because whenever I go teach a seminar, everyone's always asking for leg locks or guard passing or back attacks, whatever the case is. So this is my first time teaching this. So I think that the way that I have it laid out will make the most sense, but I'm not 100% sure. So we're going to bounce around a little bit. So, when we go to arm drags, we're going to look at setting up arm drags from these different positions, for example. So we'll have attacks from collar ties in the beginning. We're not going to attack arm drags from the collar tie until we get to the arm drag arm drag section. So when we get to these different sections, different arm drag sections, we'll start off with collar ties like we did before. But instead of just going for attacks from these collar ties, we'll use the collar ties in these various other positions to start setting up our attacks into arm drags, for example. Okay, or we'll use an initial collar tie here to start moving my partner around and pulling, and then using that to set up an under. Now we can play from here. So we're kind of going to bounce back and forth between these positions. But I think the way that I have it structured is the easiest way to understand this and the best way to structure it. But I've never taught like a long form scrimmage wrestling before. So if you guys have any feedback, I'd be happy to listen.